What's up, guys? Coming back at you for the next installment in the series. Wanted to talk about two places today. One is going to be the Olympic National Forest up in this region here, and another I'll get to in a little while. So let's get right into this. I've been doing these maps for people. Basically, my goal is to put some points on a map for all the searchers, for the people that are really interested. Kind of using my skills as a basis and what I've learned from these creatures, and I'm just trying to give it back so people can go explore these locations, see what they find, maybe get back to me, maybe work as a team and collaborate, whatever it may be. I'm just trying to see where this goes. We've had some luck sharing this in other regions before I started doing the map series, and people, they were having some good luck. Anyway, let's look at let's say right here, Olympic National Park. We know there's a lot of research that goes on up through this region here, and there's a heavy population of what you would call Bigfoot sightings. But overall, when we look at this national park here, if you want to call it that, you've got water almost on three sides. Three sides. What does that tell me as a researcher? So they may be swimming the canal here. I doubt they're out in the ocean, right? So we've really got two sections. If they want to leave the Olympic National Forest, two directions that they're going to be able to go, and that would be east and south, basically. East, they can still go this way. They're going to hit some roadblocks. They're going to hit some roads and encounter one, two, maybe three different sets of water. You're going to run into Seattle. So to me, as a no-brainer, if I was in the Olympic National Forest and I was doing research, that is one big haystack, right? That haystack to try to find a needle in is gigantic, and it's very dense. So what are we going to do? We're going to have to look somewhere else, but use the Olympic National Park and Forest as a basis. So what I would try to do is look south on ways that they can travel. The Quinault Reservation here, we've heard numerous sightings over the years from there, but most searchers cannot get onto the reservation. They have to have a good basis with the natives. So what I would start to do is kind of come down even a little farther and say, hey, they're going to come out of these ranges. If you look right here, you've got a body of water near Quinault to the left, and you've got a Lake Cushman here, right? And they kind of pinch down. Let's go ahead and draw this out right here. Kind of here to here. I'm going to save that. Okay, you've got a narrowed field pinch point there. And when we zoom back out, we're basically going to call the entire basis, home to Bigfoot. It's a huge range. So let's just knock that right out right now. We're not even going to use any of that section because they're going to live there, and the best time to get any type of results is when they're traveling. So now if we come down here and we come off this line, we got a lake right here. Let's go ahead and save that. And we've got some water over there. Let's close that one. Okay. Draw another line here from here. No, I don't want a path. Sorry about that. Okay, so we've got lines here. You got a body of water here, the Lake Cushman. You have a tiny, what's going on here? Let's see, by the 119. Now, see, this area could be interesting to me. All right, so taking a look at this, if the white is their standard living range, all up through there, they have to escape south at some point, right? So they could use the reservation, but they're going to end up hitting like near Aberdeen. You got more bodies of water there, so they're going to have to avoid that. So really now what we've done over hundreds of miles is narrowed this down. So to me, we're gonna grab this and say from here to here to here to here. That is a huge area of interest to me because that's a narrowed pinch point. I'll take that out of there, but I'm going to just show that to you. But this area here, just south of Lake Cushman, I mean, you've got like a, I don't know, it's like a, I'm going to say a park, resort, something. But when you really take a look, they're not impeded that much off of their home range here. So if they came off the mountain south anywhere through any of these ranges, which is hugely dense, they're going to come down those trails, and that could be an easy out for them right here. What is that? Next to Hood Sport. So I would say in this region here, I would look at where they could move A to B unimpeded. So you got Finch Creek here, right? I'm going to call that a really good spot. So as I drew that line out, you're going to avoid any of the major hubs to the east and most of the park to the west. This section here would be fitting to come right through there, and they're only crossing this. What is this? North Lake Cushman Road? Is that the 119 maybe? I think they'd only have, yeah, the 119. They'd only have to cross that once, and then there's really no highways up through this section, which, yeah, I mean, there are, and there's some trails, but it's nothing, you know, that they couldn't navigate. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this whole point on the map because it's definitely needed. Right up here by Finch Creek, where they might hold up a little bit before they, you know, decide to cross this region. Or I'll just put it halfway, that way we know where they're going to move. Now if that was me and I was searching this whole mountain range in this whole area, and I knew that at some point in the year they've had to move south regardless, that would be one of the points right there. And then what I would do next is I would come over to this region here where it narrowed down between Cushman and, what is that, the Quinault, Lake Quinault. So I have to do a little bit of looking. You got a little body of water down through here, Wynoochee Lake, which actually looks beautiful. But you can see where a lot of these photos, see all the pop-ups here, you know, where people have walked and hiked to take pictures. So I'm guessing there's trails and things like that through here. But as you go toward the east, there's less of that. So let's put another line here. All right. So essentially what we did, it's not saying that they couldn't cross through here, that there's not going to be anybody there on the west. But I'm just doing things that I know work, and I'm narrowing down the areas. So now what we did is we created a corridor from my line to Lake Cushman here. Now let's take a look. We got Wonder Mountain Wilderness. Looks pretty vast right up through here. Okay, so what we have to do next is figure out where would they want to go. I mean, where would be their next section that they'd actually take a look at getting into. And we've got a state forest right here, Capitol State Forest. Okay, so when we look at Capitol State Forest, kind of what I was telling you before, there's a lot of roads in, out, where they got to cross. So we're looking for the best regions, kind of closer to McCleary, or above McCleary here. Peak 480 Towers, 108. I would say probably east of McCleary would be a good shot for them to get to the Capitol State Forest here. So now we've got another line here that I've put in to get into the Capitol State Forest. I told you where the three roads usually come together in like Elma right here. They stay away from that. So I'm guessing they're going to come east. You've got Central Park to the west near Aberdeen. So to me, this near McCleary is going to be a huge hotspot. So I went ahead and I put a place mark on the map just outside of the PYR Hope Farm, just south of that. I'm going to say that this is an engaging region where they're definitely going to be forced to cross down into Capital. Anywhere east, you're running into larger cities. This pinch point is significant, and I don't know if anybody's really ever looked at it, but you've got all these large city hubs that come from the west all the way, and really your next clearing is here near McCleary, where they can move, you know, virtually unimpeded. Now if you go back up and look at our lines, let's figure out how we can connect those. So for starters, we'll go back up near Hoodsport here. We'll make a line where if they come out of here, they're gonna head, let's say they got a clearing all the way down through here. If you really take a look, there's not major traffic, major highways. They're just outside of the lake. A lot of fields. Skohomish Reservation is to the right, so that totally makes sense to me, that they could move unimpeded down through this region. So now that we've got them coming all the way to there, they're going to run into some issues here near Dayton, which makes me believe that they would break this direction, which would be to the west. So if they're coming out of there, and let's just call it, you know, call it what it is, this direction, we're going to go ahead and save that, right? What we're going to try to do is get some intersecting areas. So now there's our line up here to the north. South, they've got virtually two ways to go. They can go northeast, sort of toward Dayton, but they know that they're going to run into trouble that way. So my guesstimate, based on what I've seen, is they would move this direction toward Matlock. We're going to go ahead and save that. So what interests me too is in a lot of places, and I'm doing these off the cuff, like I find the cities, the travel routes, I do what I do. Here's an excavating company, and I think this is like the third time I've seen like a gravel or an excavating company or something, all kind of near a Bigfoot hub, which is just coincidence, but that's where you end up hearing that a lot of equipment and things were messed with, but it's been in a few different states like that. So we have to come back up here where we created our line, cutting that pinch point in half, coming out of the Olympics. So now we have this range here, which is, it's vast. So it would take some time to really find the highways. So give me a second. So now what you found is a hub. You see all these lines coming out of Hoodsport to Olympic National Forest, where we split it. And backtracking from the Capital State Forest, we've got a midpoint location near Matlock. So to me, this becomes a hub and a huge area of interest. So we've already got 2 points, one where they come down through Hoodsport, and even up here to the north where the Olympic National Forest line is, east to west. That's a pinch point, but you still have a vast distance in there. We'll try to get one up there now. To me, the Wander Mountain Wilderness there is going to be somewhere they can hold up. There's not a lot of trail activity up through there, and if they did move out south, it would be like right in this region here, near this Skohomish upper lower South Fork trailhead. I would do some research right in here. So that's where my research would be, if I did some research that, you know, that would move me around. But it's right off of Steel Creek. Now what I'll do is just zoom you out for a better perspective on that, because I mean they might go to the east a little bit more, but this valley through here, that waterbed, that's interesting to me, because they're going to use that, and this is the head of it where you know, they might come down out of that Wonder Mountain Wilderness. Now we have 3 points on the map, as you can see. Hopefully you've been writing them down, just outside of McCleary by Hoodsport, and this is by the trailhead north. So that brings us back to the hub or the epicenter near Matlock. To me, I just think that that's going to be a huge crossing area from them coming north to south. Now we just have to find a point in there or two. Alright, so what I'm looking at is a hub right here. From here to here, kind of to here. This section right here. Let's go ahead and cancel that. And why do I say that? Even if they're coming from the west toward the east, they're going to hit this larger landmass. They might not come toward Matlock as much, just because you've got, you know, residences. Not to say that they won't, because they will. But like I said, I'm trying to put you in the best locations. And then if we have some travel from the east and the north, it all comes to a head up in this region. So the goal would be to find the exit. You have, let's just call it 4 entry points coming in toward Matlock. Not to say that they couldn't go anywhere and out anywhere, but I'm trying to give you the best locations. So to me it would be down in the southeast corner here. Alright, so I think I got my 1 point here. It's going to be West Sheldon Matlock Road, just off of Bingham Creek. That would be a very sound point for me. The next point would be just to the east of that. I would put it right here on the same road, because you have the whole Matlock Road running east to west, cutting this section off from north to south travel. And if they're coming down, yeah, they could come between this excavating company and the lake. That's definitely plausible. But I'm just trying to give you the better locations in my opinion. So just outside of Matlock, I mean, you're running, I don't know, what is that, a mile? Not even. Let's go ahead and measure that. That way I get a distance right outside of Matlock here. You are 1.4 miles outside of Matlock. And then another maybe quarter or a half to the next point. Those are the 2 major hubs where they're going to move north to south. You can see how they can move unimpeded, no problem, as they head south. But I'm giving you the pinch points. So that took us all of 20 minutes to get you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots on the map. If anybody's near the Olympics and you know they want to try to collaborate and use some of my locations, hey, let's do it. I mean, that's why I'm putting it out there. So like I said, I wouldn't go into the Olympic National Forest per se, because it's too big. And the bigger the haystack, the harder the needle is to find, guys. So I've looked at more of the travel route situation, and if it were me, I would go to all 5 points, and I'd have little research stations set up near all 5 points and wait till I get the data that I needed or some type of evidence, and then move forward saying, hey, this is where they are, this is, the whole 9 yards. So you're piecing it all together. But yeah, so that's it for the Olympic National Forest, and I'm going to go ahead, in the next video I'll do part 2. Thanks, guys.